Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arts for Essential Workers August 2020 performance. My name is Nelson McMillan, and I am the founder but also your host this evening. We've got 5 acts to bring you tonight, actually, 3 of which will be theatrical and 2 musical performances. Now, the theme this month is on healthcare. And on that note, I just want to talk very briefly about our mission, which is a mission that is focused on, I could probably sum it up in 4 words. It's performance for a purpose. And what we aim to do with our storytelling is connect the essential workers community with the artistic world. The aim being we encourage dialogue, conversation, story sharing, and ultimately through that, help support each other. But it's not just the essential workers, it's also their families and the wider public. Because what we're aiming to do is build a movement of people that really get behind the arts to remember and recognise what the arts can do for all of us in terms of positive health. Now, we're raising tonight money for the mental health charity Mind, as well as our own not-for-profit, A Few. So all donations go to those organisations, and you can donate at artsforew.org. A quick note about our style as well. It's really unique what we're doing because, let's be fully transparent about it, we don't have a Hollywood budget. In fact, we're pretty much on minimal budget, actually. But with that, we aim to bring you maximum potential with our content. Up-and-coming artists, respected artists, and tonight that is no exception at all. In fact, what we're doing is a form of rehearsed reading. Now, for those who don't know what rehearsed reading is, it is effectively, in musical terms, sight reading. So our talent this evening only got their scripts a very short while ago, and I've had minimal rehearsal time. We've got no special effects, no amazing stage design, not even any kind of, high-level budget costumes. Instead, what we do have is some great original writing, and we'll talk about those writers a little bit later on. And we have our acting talent and our musical talent here tonight, who are going to be very much performing spontaneously in the moment, reacting as and when they read the text and bring that to life for you. Now, talking about imagination, creativity, and the like, I now want to bring forward our artistic director, Katie Cole, just to set the context for the evening. Katie,
Hello.
great to have you here. Well, it's looking very sparkly behind you. How are you doing? You okay?
I am good. I'm good after such an exciting tech rehearsal. I am absolutely buzzing for tonight. It's going to be so good. So this evening we are focusing on healthcare, and this was a really easy, in some respects, month to curate on my behalf. Because our healthcare system is like no other. And globally, we have been far more engaged with our healthcare and our healthcare workers in recent times, which I won't dwell on because we all know all too well exactly what that is. But it's really shed a light on how important these people are to our communities. And I am the daughter of a nurse and health visitor. So I grew up with nurses and doctors and their kindness and empathy, and my Scottish mother's, strict ruling of it's not that bad, you can go to school. So I have a lot of love for our healthcare workers, and this month was such a joy to curate because everybody's got these amazing stories, and whether that is the embarrassing story, which we'll see our lovely performer Mally and Reese doing later on, the story that you dread that doctor's appointment and then you talk about it for years with your friends about how mortifying it was, or the stories where actually our wonderful healthcare service take a really scary situation and make it a little bit better, make it a little bit calmer, and make you feel a little bit safer. And that empathy and those stories are what we've tried to capture this evening in some of our beautiful writing and our, even more beautiful performances. So we're really, really lucky. And the talent we have got, oh my goodness, it's so good. From people I've trained with to people who have taught me, like Tracy Collier, to then be able to work with them in this capacity is so exciting. And we have also got some fresh faces that this is my first time working with, and it has been an absolute treat. And I hope that it is not the last for sure. So, yeah, I'm buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
Well, thank you, Katie. And actually, on the subject of all of that, let's talk a little bit about how the audience can perhaps get the most out
Yeah.
of this evening, particularly the live audience tonight. We'll have many people watch this over and over on YouTube, Facebook afterward, the recorded versions. But what about those who have taken the opportunity to join live tonight, Katie?
Yeah, absolutely. So anybody who's with us last month will know we've got a really fun interactive aspect of leaving comments that our actors can see and respond to. And we also have a little Q&A after each performance with the performers. And that's really exciting. And you can comment below on YouTube and whatever platform you're watching it on, and we'll bring those up. And we do encourage you to do it because it really adds to the night, and it is lovely to put some questions to our performers and interact with them a little bit after they do their monologues or songs or scenes.
Well, thanks, Katie. And actually, to that point, let's raise our first comment. Here we go. It's a shout out from Fiona Lang to Caroline Cole. Any comment at all on that, Katie?
It's a very good shout out. Caroline Quill is my mother and Fiona is a school friend. And so my mum has been the medical expert for a lot of years in our friend group. So very fitting shout out.
Wonderful. Lovely to get that early in with our artistic director as well. And we have one more. Let's just bring that in for you, Katie.
Oh, thanks. You can do this
It's a
every
lovely thank you from Emily Cordell. Lots of love for Katie from fans in the public. Thank you, Matthew Biddulph, as well. Okay, Katie, we'll now ask you to go backstage as we progress. And now I want to talk about our first act, which is Dr. Keshav Shri, who's an actor, writer, as well as an emergency medicine doctor. He uses his time between hospitals to act, write, and be involved in filming. He recently finished acting training at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama and is our creative director at A Few. Tonight, Keshav is performing a monologue that is an original piece written by himself. It is inspired by the day-to-day working of a doctor on the front line and about things he wished he'd known before he started working as a doctor.
Right, is this thing on? Oh yeah, okay. The guy before me talks a lot, eh? Oh, you're still here. Okay, just kidding. Right, so we've been over qualifications and what books you need to read to get an A-star in chemistry. I'm just here to give you some insight about what it's like working on the shop floor before you make the plunge. So here's the thing. You'll be working your ass off, and at the end of a 12-hour shift, when Maureen on bed 13 on the 7th floor decides to poo some blood, you'll be bleeped. You'll be required to put your index finger right up a bum, or else you'll be thoroughly inquired at handover. And the look on the faces of some of those seniors will convince you that your medical license is in jeopardy. And what's worse, 95% of the cases, there's nothing to be reported. No masses, no tumors, no dangling hemorrhoids, just a good old brown nugget. Sitting there, so innocently, making you feel guilty for borderline assaulting that patient in the first place. Right. And the smell. Let me tell you about the smell. See, they teach you nothing about the smell at medical school. Look, check. Feel, check. Tone, check. Smell, Mister, I was never on the examination checklist, but I'm here like an uninvited father-in-law, check. You think you can get away with this. You think this is just a procedure, and if I just follow the steps and detach myself from my index finger mentally, it'd be like it never happened. Like playing a video game, in and out. But once Maureen's whiff of half-digested coronation chicken hits the back of your throat, you know it's real. You're really here. You have arrived. You're engulfed by this weird anatomical cavity. And this is where you're going to have your existential crisis, thinking, my God, this must be Maureen's revenge for everything that I've ever done. She knows I'm vegetarian. So kids, make sure you cut your nails, double glove, and take 2 packets of lube, no matter what angel behind the nurse's desk tells you to do. Because once you open the floodgates, that thin sheet of plastic does very little to protect you from the enlightening experience that lies ahead. On the way out, of course, she bleeds a liter of half-digested blood. You call the peri-arrest team, you make sure she's got some fluids, and that the major hemorrhage protocol is commenced. She lives to see another day, and she tells you that she's glad you came over at the right time and examined her, even though your eye bags were down to your knees. Then it hits you. You saved a life. So that's that. I hope the other speeches on Career Day are better than this one. Okay. How do I switch this off? There.
Wonderful, Keshav. Thank you for that opening performance. Well done. How are you feeling? How was it, to go from doctor, working 1 minute, into then writing?
Yeah, I love it. I think working as a doctor is actually really good for giving you lots of material. And actually, a lot of the times it can be quite daunting and can be quite sad, but I feel like there's a humor in everything. And it's good to, capitalize on that. I'm not saying taking away from the seriousness of the matter, but I think something that helps us cope. And if you can't laugh at what you do and how you do it, then, it keeps you sane, really. So I love writing, and I have been doing a bit of writing recently. So yeah.
Well, we've got time. We've got a couple of minutes now for questions for our talent this evening. Please, if you're on YouTube, Facebook, and you're live tonight, you can definitely interact and send some comments in, positive comments or questions, or if any of the stories this evening, including Keshav's a moment ago, trigger a story for you, please type it away, and we'll be looking to share your comments. But before we do, we've got something here from Alana Reddick. But before we bring that in, Keshav, I mean, that was a monologue about poo, right? What was the inspiration behind that?
So you don't really get taught this before you go to medical school, but there's a lot of, as a junior doctor, there's a lot of doing exams, what are called per-rectal exams, and that basically involves, sorry for my audience, but it basically involves putting your index finger up a person's back passage and looking for things like tumors, masses, bleeding, and things like that. And they're quite a bread and butter of junior doctors. So this is something that you're not taught about a lot. And there's a lot of things that happen when you do this, and you think mostly that it's going to be procedure, and if I just follow the steps that have happened before, everything will be fine. But things like these happen, and yeah, of course, the smell is a big part of it. I've been in situations where you're surrounded by the smell. I don't want to go on about this for too long, but I just thought it's quite a funny insight, and just actually what makes us human, instead of what we think of doctors and healthcare workers are almost as machines, just get on with it and do it. So I think there is a human inside of the human part of us, and that human part does smell the bad smells that come out, and it does grab you, and does make you want to get out of there as soon as you can. But
well, indeed, Keshav. Well, here we go, Keshav. We've got that comment here from Alana Reddick. Thank you for sharing that, Alana. Let me read it out for those that are audio only. Amazing first performance. Such a funny insight. Not sure I could handle treating poor Maureen. Thanks, Keshav. I got a question here from Priya Jindal. How much humour is acceptable on the wards? Obviously, you have a duty of care, but is there space to joke, reflect with colleagues to make the job easier?
Yeah, so I always find that humor is always better. I usually, especially if I'm seeing patients who have a lot to, if there's something that's quite serious, I try and not crack a joke as such, be insensitive, but I try and just see the funny side of it and speak to them about it, or see if they're on the same side. And I think if the patient still has their sense of humor, it's a very good sign. You know, they might be in sepsis, for example, but if they still got their sense of humor, then it tells you a lot in terms of the recovery. So I think it's very important, and there definitely is space, and it does make the job easier. And I'm sure you feel the same.
Great, thanks for that, Keisha. And thank you for the question, Peter. Very thought-provoking. We've got another one here from Miss Cara Baldwin. Let me bring this up. How do you prepare the delivery of your speech? Was it challenging writing comedy when your audience is digital? I was having a right giggle behind the screen. Well, glad to hear that, Cara. Keshav, over to you.
Yeah, that's good to hear as well. So I think, I prepared it as a Zoom meeting, almost like I'm delivering this to students before they go to med school. And I didn't really think of the audience before I wrote my monologue. And I just kind of wrote about something that I thought was funny and not everybody talks about. And it's because you know, when you tend to think about doctors and people in the healthcare profession, everything seems to be serious. So I just wanted to give a bit of an insight in terms of what we do every day and how it can be quite funny. So I'm glad you're having a right giggle behind the screen. I can't really see you and I can't see my audience, which makes it slightly harder. But I think that's what I was expecting, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. So thank you, Cara.
Well, we've got time for one more question, Keshav. A very brief answer, if I may, in this one, and it's from Tiffany Clare. How do you unwind after an evening on the ward?
That's a very good question. So I think everybody does this very differently. It depends how bad the shift has been. So it can be anything from coming back, just listening to a lot of music and dancing, or driving in my car and singing along to the music, or writing as well. I think writing helps a lot, especially if there's something that's happened that you really want to capture on a piece of paper. And I think everybody's different. I also meditate and do yoga, so I think that's been something that's been very helpful for me in the last year or so.
Wonderful. Thank you, Keshav. And for anybody who didn't get the chance to ask a question or pass a comment, don't worry. Keshav will be back for the panel, which is what we're going to do at the very end when we bring all the cast and crew for you to interact with. Thank you, Keshav.
Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, our next act, we have Alex Allison, who's an actor, singer and writer from the British Midlands, who graduated in musical theatre from the London College of Music in 2018. Alex never stops. She's about to start a master's in professional creative writing this year. And tonight, Alex is performing Cockeyed Optimist from the musical South Pacific.
When the sky is a bright canary yellow, I forget every cloud I've ever seen. So they call me a cockeyed optimist, immature and incurably green. I have heard people rant and rave and bellow that we're done and we might as well be dead. But I'm only a cockeyed optimist, and I can't get it into my head. I hear the human race is fallen on its face and hasn't very far to go. But every whippoorwill is selling me a bill and telling me it just ain't so. I could say life is just a bowl of jello and appear more intelligent and smart. But I'm stuck like a dope in a thing called hope, and I can't get it out
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. And well done. What was your inspiration behind choosing that?
So we actually did this song at university for an assessment, and the character is a nurse, so I felt like it was just perfect for the theme.
Perfect. Could you give everyone just a quick, maybe idea of what the musical is about?
Yeah, so the musical is called South Pacific, and it's about a woman called Nellie. It's a really great story. It's actually set in the 1940s, which is super cool in the sense that they've managed to put so many themes together in it. And yeah, it's just a really classic story, and it's one of those that I feel like everyone should watch.
Love it. Thanks, Alex. You definitely brought that to life for us tonight. If anyone's got any questions for Alex, please type them into the chat. We've got a lovely comment from David Galloway. It's beautiful, Alex. Thank you for sharing that, David. Alex, on a slightly different note, we saw in your bio that you're off to do creative writing next. What's that exactly? I mean, in terms of how does that relate to your musical theatre background?
So when I was younger, it was always a toss-up between whether I wanted to do writing or whether I wanted to do performing. And performing kind of stuck, but writing was something that I kind of carried on doing by myself, just for me. And then, sadly, one of my friends passed away this gone year, and it was mentioned that she did a master's degree, and it just really inspired me. And it made me realise that I don't have to do just one thing. I can do both if I wanted to. So she really inspired me to follow my dreams. Oh, Nelson, I think you're on mute.
Thank you, Alex. Let me just share one of these comments. But before I do, thank you for sharing that story, Alex. It's always interesting to get, people's inspirations behind stuff. But here, let me bring this up from Emily Cardell. Yes, Alex, how do you stay optimistic and motivated, especially in the current circumstances?
Ooh, I just always do things that I love. So if I ever find myself feeling down, I'll just sit and just do a bit of writing. And sometimes as well, I really don't feel like doing anything, and I have to give myself, the freedom to say, if you don't want to do anything, you don't have to. You can just sit and chill. I never force the creativity. So if I feel like doing a recording, I'll just sit down and do it. But if I don't feel like doing it, I'm never going to force myself. And I think that's what helps me stay optimistic and motivated. I think you're on mute again.
Here we are. Sorry, Alex. Thank you for that. Let me just bring in Cara Baldwin. Exciting to hear about your MA. How can we keep in the loop with what you're up to?
So I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. Mostly stuff to do with the writing and stuff goes on Twitter. But I am starting to put more stuff on Instagram. And in October, I'm hoping to release, well, fingers crossed, I'm writing some poetry that's actually a story that will start on the 1st of October and go through to the 30th. And all of the stories/poems link with each day. So there'll be one post on Instagram every single day that you can follow, which is hopefully going to be really fun.
Wow, great. That's great. Hopefully inspiration for everybody else, Alex. Maybe a few of us will join you on that poetry challenge.
Oh, do it. Do it. I'd love that.
That's a good idea. We've put your Instagram ticker just down there. Let me bring up a couple. We've got a question here from Emily Cardell. I'll come back to the moment, but we've got a really well done, Alex, from George Seymour.
Thank you, George.
And also from Sarah Carty. Bravo, giving me Liza Minnelli vibes.
Got a lot of bit of Liza.
We've got time one more question for you, Alex. And this is from Emily Cardell. Any dream roles?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Musical-wise, anything from the golden era musicals. So this kind of era I absolutely love. And modern things. I love the musical Beetlejuice. And I'd love to do Wicked as well. Wicked is such a cool musical. So that's something I'd love to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, you heard it here first, casting directors. Watch out. Thank you very much, Alex.
Thank you very much.
And next up, ladies and gentlemen, just give me one moment. And next up, we have a duologue, ladies and gentlemen, where we're bringing you, first of all, Tracy Collier, who has been a stage and television actress since 1979. She's appeared nationally and internationally in plays, musicals, and television, and most notably, Tracy has appeared in the West End as Lady Jacqueline Carston in Me and My Girl, and also at the National Theatre. Plays include Guys and Dolls and Tom Stoppard's Rough Crossing. Tracy is also a director and choreographer, and she ran her own theatre company, Time for Change Theatre. Adil Akram trained as a professional actor at Arts Ed London. On stage, Adil has appeared in many roles, including leading as Aladdin at Mumford Theatre, and also appearing as Mustafa Khan as part of the Bollyprov UK, the UK's first South Asian comedy improv group. On screen, Adil has played Dr. Langer in Spy School and a surgeon in the NHS Labour Party broadcast on the BBC. And he's collaborated on the Hear Me Now monologues for actors of colour. Tonight, both actors will be performing an extract from The Favour, written by Nicole Zwiebek. The Favour tells the story of two doctors and friends who escape the madness of the hospital for just a moment, only to be confronted by their own drama.
Linda, an anesthesiologist, stands smoking a cigarette in a shaded corner outside of A&E. Reza, an A&E cardiologist, approaches her.
Rough day?
The roughest.
Go on then. If you're going to rot your lungs, I might as well join you.
What will I tell your patients, doctor?
What will I tell your parents?
Hey, I just put them to sleep. You're the one that hands out pamphlets and free quitting guides. I distinctly remember you telling that heart disease patient.
That's where you're wrong. They get those from the GP. Hey, I'm not denying it's hypocritical.
The most.
What's so bad about today then?
Oh, nothing really. It's just a day like any other. Never gets any easier though, does it? Little girl, 5 years old, car crash. She was so sweet. They brought her in clutching this bloodied teddy. She reminded me of Delilah when she was that age, you know, with the short blonde hair, wearing this little pink dress that was now red. 2 broken femurs, some internal bleeding, and some glass.
Her parents? Shame. Right.
When I was putting her under, I told her to count to 10. I said, and it's what I tell all the little ones, and some of the big ones. I said, imagine your favourite place in the world. We're going to go there. It's just me and you, and imagine I'm standing there with you. She was frightened, as they mostly are. So I said, don't worry, sweetie, you're just going to take a nap and have the best dreams. Before I started, she asked me about Mum and Dad. I said they were in the next room. I lied. I said they'd be waiting for her. I feel terrible about that. Do you know, sometimes I feel like I'm the greatest actor in the world.
You have to.
Yes, but it's awful, isn't it? I mean, when she wakes up, the entire world as she knew it will be gone. Where will she go?
Maybe just try not to think about it.
You're right. I always wonder what they see. I was actually reading a study the other day about the types of dreams patients have while they're under. It's fascinating.
And?
Well, there's debate, of course. Test group A, they were told about specific circumstances right before, where they are, what they're seeing, doing. And test group B, nothing. They just say nothing, but
Do they remember?
the results varied.
Could never know, I suppose. Sorry.
What for?
Just like you said, never gets any easier. Especially not when you have a big heart. Like yours. Should get that checked.
Huh, I have. It's not big, it's small and wimpish.
Oh, sure. I've been meaning to talk to you, actually.
Oh,
Glad I had a chance to...
everything all right?
Yeah, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
Trouble with Mary again?
No, not again. Luckily.
The kids? Well, go on then. You're making me nervous. Oh, you don't want to start having an affair again, do you?
You know I can't resist you.
Well, come on then. What is it?
I have cancer.
What?
I have cancer.
Yes, no, I heard you. I heard that part. What? I mean, when were you diagnosed?
A year ago?
A year ago. You were diagnosed a year ago and you didn't tell me.
Didn't tell anyone.
What are you talking about?
Exactly what I just said.
But Mary knows.
No, she doesn't.
You have got to be fucking kidding me. And give me that.
Hey, it's my cancer and I'll smoke if I want to.
Not on my watch.
Isn't that how the song goes?
This is funny to you. Well, what is it then?
Stage 3, pancreatic. You're the first person I've told.
Charming. You're an idiot.
I'm a doctor.
Which is why...
My father, Linda.
Oh, shit. Shit.
Yeah, shit.
Rez,
I know how this goes. I've seen it before. I watched him go from a happy man, you remember, to a pale version of himself. A version just hiding his pain, trying to keep everyone else happy. The chemo killed him.
well, with him, you tried. Look at you. You took him to New York, for Christ's sake, for that trial at Memorial Sloan. But what? For yourself? You just give up?
The cure is worse, and you know it. I don't want to end up like that, a ghost.
I'm taking you upstairs. We need to get you...
No, don't you understand? It's not what I want.
What I understand is that you are a very sick man that is denying himself possible treatment, possible life-saving treatment.
There's nothing life-saving about it.
We have a great oncologist here, one of the best in the region. Or, I don't know, we could get you on one of the similar trials if that's what you want. There's lots of research being done. They've just come out with, oh, well, you know that, and I know that. I am not going to let you go down without a fight. You idiot. If this is about your pride or whatever, well, fuck your pride.
This is about my family. not watching me wither and fade in whatever time I have left. This type of cancer is a war. I won't win. Come on. Come on now.
You have to tell Mary and the kids, or I will.
I'll tell them when the time's right.
And when will that be? Why did you bother telling me? Why tell me then?
You're my best friend.
No, your wife is supposed to be your best friend.
Come on, Linda. You're not that traditional. Please, don't pretend.
I'm going to kill you.
My pancreas will do that for you.
Oh, don't joke like that.
I'm sorry, all right? To put this on you. I'm sorry. I'm only telling you because I need a favor.
What?
Now, listen, I've thought long and hard about this.
No.
When the time comes, I need you to put me to sleep.
Are you kidding me? I'll lose my license. Have
No.
you lost your mind?
I'll have a plan. I'll leave a note.
No, Rez, no. You are out of your fucking...
Or I'm completely serious. I'm sane. It's totally logical, unemotional.
Fuck.
I want to do this.
Here, since you're so bent on a suicide mission...
Linda.
Hello, Tracy and Adil. Thank you for your connectivity there. And I'm just getting some of the comments coming flying in. Here we go. One from the Ramsey review. Wow. And here one from Charu M. Amazing performances, everyone. Thanks. Yes, Keshav. Yes, Alex. And another one here from Fiona Lang. Incredibly powerful. Brought tears to my eyes throughout. Now, in your playing careers, you've clearly played medical roles before, on stage, I'm sure, on TV. How is it different tonight doing it for us? Let's start with maybe yourself, Tracy.
I actually have never played a medical role. This is the first one. So it's a first for me, which is great. I think, obviously, this whole forum, as it were, is very different. I've done rehearsed readings before, but I've never done a sort of a live streamed performance. And I must say it's a bit nerve-wracking, actually, if I'm honest, probably because I couldn't see Adil. Obviously, the scene is played in a way where the audience sees us looking at each other, but I miss seeing his eyes, which are rather lovely, I might say. So that's kind of how it it differed for me, because I love the sense of interacting. I mean, we did in the rehearsal, we interacted and did it face to face, so we know what it looked like. But that was it for me.
Oh, indeed. Well, and Adil, any thoughts on that yourself? Thank you for that, Tracy. Actually, just before you come in, Adil, it's fascinating to note, because to me it looks like you're speaking to each other, same eye line on screen. I'm not thinking that you can't see each other. You know, your acting is completely based on your imagination, right, Tracy? You're imagining Adil in front of you.
Yes.
Adil, how about yourself? We know you have played a surgeon and you've done something for the Labour Party as well in a BBC broadcast. Can you perhaps comment how this was different to that?
It was much more personal story. So there's other things I've done, have been sort of, medical roles, but this particular scene is so intimate, and it's really lovely, the relationship between Linda and Reza. And it was really nice to work with Nicole, the writer, as well, in developing this lovely scene. And this way of using online streaming to perform a very intimate scene, it's very new to me as well, as Tracy was saying. But I think the chance to have just run it a few times together to get the feel of the connection, so you can imagine who you're talking to and where the beats are. But it's always very different to the real live performance, where you have the person in front of you to fully receive and give the energies and see their eyes, as Tracy said.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Adil. And everybody who's listening, if you've got any questions, comments, or stories you want to share for Adil and Tracy, please put them in the chat for us. We'll bring those up later on towards the end because it's time to move on. But before we do, I realise I've made a technical error in that you probably had about a 30-second blank gap of no audio. So we're going to replay that again because I actually was speaking but didn't realise I was muted. So this is for Nicole Zweibeck, who is a Los Angeles-born playwright who wrote tonight The Favour. That was the piece performed by Tracy and Adil. Nicole is a theatre maker and she holds an MA in writing for stage and broadcast media from the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. Her debut play, Bit of Sunshine, told the story of a young woman's battle with an eating disorder. It was the winner of the Stockwell Playhouse One Act Festival in 2016, awarded by Paul Vale from The Stage. Thank you so much, Nicole, for commissioning that piece, The Favour, for Adil and Tracy to perform, which they performed exceptionally well this evening. Thank you, Nicole. We'll move on now to our next act. And next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have for you Timika Ramsey. And apologies if I pronounced that incorrectly, I'll just say Tamika Ramsey, who is a professional singer-songwriter, an actor who trained at Rose Bruford. Tamika's stage credits include Magna Carta at the National Theatre and Cinderella as Cinderella at the Lyric Hammersmith. Tamika's screen credits include Tamika in Enterprise, Sibel in adult material for Channel 4, and Layla in Ghosts Season 2 for Monumental Television on the BBC. Tonight, Tamika is performing Waiting for Life from the musical Once on This Island.
A stranger in white in a car going somewhere, going far. How it must feel to go racing wherever you please, flying as free as a bird with his tail in the breeze. Even the fish in the sea must be longing to fly, catching a glimpse of a stranger in white racing by. Oh gods, are you there? What can I do to get you to look down and give in? Oh gods, hear my prayer. I'm here in the field with my feet on the ground and my feet in the air, waiting for life to begin. Mama's contented and Tantan accepts what he gets, happy with tea in the cups and no holes in their nets, happy to have what they have and to stay where they are. They never even look up at the sound of a car. A stranger racing down the beach, racing to places I was meant to reach. My stranger, one day you'll arrive. Your car will stop and enough will drive. We'll drive. Oh gods, please be there. Don't you remember your little Timon from the tree? Wake up, look down, hear my prayer. Don't single me out and then forget me. Oh gods, let me fly. Send me to places where no one before me has been. You spared my life. Show me why you like a fish to the bait, then tell me to wait. Well, I'm waiting for life to begin, waiting for life to begin.
Woohoo! Well done, Tamika. That was absolutely amazing. Wow, I'm glowing. I'm glowing as much as you are, actually. Let's just talk about that for a moment. What is this? Who is this character? Can you tell us a bit about the character?
She's basically a young girl from an island, and she has never really been branched out. She stays where she is, and she's quite poor, and basically she sees this person on the beach, and he's like well off, and she's like, who is this person? I've been in this small world, and now this person has opened my eyes, and she basically wants to leave her island to go and see the love of her life, basically. And it's just about that journey and the gods helping her along the way. And so, yeah, it's a really beautiful story.
Well, before I ask you a question, Tamika, and we must press on because we've got so many comments, but what shall I share first? But, we've got many for everybody here. Let me first of all do something before we move, and that is to contact Tamika here at our Instagram handle. But at the same time, let's share some of this with you, Tamika. So, from Alexandria Allison. Oh, that's Alex.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Wow, Tamika, so incredible.
Thank you.
From Emily Cordell, wow, this is so beautiful.
Oh,
From the
thank you.
Ramsey Review, that key change.
That's my mama.
Alana Reddick, Goosebumps. Yeah, I felt that too.
Thank
Alana.
you, guys. Thank you.
And I just picked one more. You Reach Us, My Love, from Nets Lassie. So that question, the one question we have to make at the moment is, what was the inspiration behind choosing that song tonight?
Well, I just think that it's quite a hopeful song, and it's about trying to leave where you're stuck and try and branch out and live fully, which is kind of what was happening during the quarantine. During this time, we were all stuck and we wanted to go and live our life to the fullest. And I think that the health workers have been a beacon of hope for us, and this song is just so hopeful, and they are the ones who are helping us to live our life fully. So I just thought it was a great song, and hopefully it'll bring a smile to some people.
Oh, well, certainly did to me, and as you can see with that reaction there to everybody here, you brightened everyone's day with that, Tamika. Thank you so much. And just one more comment for you. Well, we'll save that as a question from Molly Piggott for later because we're running out of time.
Okay.
So I will dash, and we will see you shortly, Tamika. Now, next up we have Malianne Reese, who is a bilingual Cardiff-born actress trained at East 15 Acting School. Since graduating in 2017, Mali has appeared in multiple roles on theatre and in television. Most recently, her television work has included a series regular in Hidden and Craith on S4C and the BBC. Mali was due to be performing Enemy of the People at the Sherman Theatre prior to lockdown, which has now been postponed to 2021. Tonight we have Mali fortunately presenting for us Stuck, which is written by Gemma Champness. Now, Stuck is the outrageous and yet relatable account of a gal who just wanted a nice night in with her boyfriend after a busy week. We see here one of the many struggles of being a woman, awkwardly relayed to her GP.
We looked everywhere for it. Everywhere. Checked the bed, checked the floor, pulled off the duvet, checked the sheet. Checked. Honestly. Even the drawers, which is ridiculous, because how it could have jumped into a drawer, I don't even know. And Alex, my boyfriend, he tried having a look, but I'm quite small and he couldn't see very far up. He said it's like looking in a dark, squishy tunnel, like one of those water wigglies you get as a kid. And I tried to have a feel, but again, there's only so far I can reach. And maybe we're panicking over nothing and the cat's eaten it or something, but I'm really beginning to freak that maybe it's stuck up there. We won't be able to get it out ever, and it'll slowly disintegrate, leaving traces of gunky latex in my bloodstream. Either that or it'll start to make its way down during this big presentation I'm doing tomorrow at work. I work with a lot of men, and it's a pretty big deal, and various bosses will be there, and I'm having visions of this rancid condom slowly creeping out my vag mid-speech, which, you know, is slightly concerning. To be honest, we don't normally use them because I've got the implant, but my friend Becky got chlamydia from this guy she's been shagging for a few months. And despite Alex claiming he'd never cheat, men say that all the time, don't they? So I told him until he showed me the test results that he's got a clean penis, he couldn't dip it in raw anymore. Now this has happened. Why is it always the girls that suffer? I'm not really sure which is worse, but it's not a great advert for Durex, is it? Alex told me he needed the large condoms, but I've seen those videos of people shoving the smaller size over their feet and they really can stretch. So maybe it was a bit too big and it just slipped off like a sock inside a welly. Do you want me to get on the bed then? Sorry.
So that was a monologue called Stuck, written by Gemma Champness, who trained in acting at East 15 in London in 2013 and has performed in a number of intimate venues across London. In 2015, she took part in writing courses at the Monobox and Theatre 503 and has since written scripts for both stage and screen. Thank you very much, Gemma, who commissioned that piece for us at Arts for Essential Workers, and it was, of course, ably performed by the wonderful Mali. Mali, thank you for that. How was that for you in terms of, how do you find connecting to that?
The piece I found quite easy to connect to. I think it's a common story with women. It's just a weird experience in performing live on like a live stream. That was bizarre.
It's fascinating. Okay, let me share something with you, Mali. You're getting lots of comments here. So here we've got this from Nicole Zweibeck, actually one of our previous writers. So thank you for that, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole.
Encouraging a few laughs there. Molly Piggott, you certainly hit the mark there with that, Molly, in terms of the way you went. And I actually just want to say as well, with that piece, for me it was a very interesting look because I've never been on that side, with a lady in there having to have that awkward conversation. And for any healthcare watchers who we've got tonight, I'm sure, here's what it looks like as a fly in the wall for you guys. Maybe there's a bit of like conversation to be had on perhaps both sides of the coin. And how has this whole thing, Mali, made you feel about, your appreciation of healthcare and in terms of what healthcare is doing for the country at the moment? Maybe not just now at the moment, but at any time.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think everybody's respect for healthcare workers has just grown so much. What I found quite interesting about this is like when Corona was happening, a lot of people weren't going in for minor problems, i.e. getting a condom stuck. So yeah, I think, we really do take them for granted, and hopefully like everybody's going to appreciate them a lot more now.
God, well, thanks for that, Mali. And I'm going to end our little chat there and thank you very much again for that performance, and thank you, Gemma, for the writing. I'm going to bring back all of our talent now for the last 5 minutes. Here is everybody coming in. Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to ask our talent if they could please just mute themselves for now. They are excellent. And then let me just share a few things here, guys. You've got comments coming in from the audience. Let me just bring this up from Priya Jindal. That was so well delivered. The comedy really came through, even in the digital space. Brilliant sardonic delivery for the final line, had me creasing. I think that was definitely for yourself there, Mali. Well done on that. Got one here from Keshav. You hit so many important points for healthcare professionals. And this actually makes, I feel goosebumps on my skin. Proud of you. So much talent on here. Wow, amazing voices. Thank you for sharing that, Chiru. And we have this from Molly Piggott, actually, which was for Tamika. We didn't get round to this before. And whilst we look at this question, everybody, if you've got a comment, a question, we've got about 4 minutes now to ask our talent before we close the show this evening. So, Tamika, it must be so challenging to deliver a song like that through screen. Do you feel like you have to change your performance?
Well, I usually would be dancing around the stage. I'd be like, ah! But obviously you can't see all my wonderful moves. So I had to change it a little bit. But it's a really nice song to sing and it makes you feel happy, even if you're doing it through screen. So I hope that translated.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Getting a few comments in, and I just want to share this with all the cast tonight. Thank you, Tiffany Clare, for that wonderful evening. Thank you. It's all over in an hour. There's hardly any time. I just put to the cast there. Anybody want to give some reflection on how it was your first experience doing like this live stream platform, particularly given the purpose behind what we're doing at Arts for Essential Workers? Maybe let's go to Tracy for your thoughts on that, because I know you have a massive stage and TV career, not used to this.
No, but I think the intimacy of it in a way actually gives a sense of the caring that's involved with the people we're doing this for. And that's really lovely that actually this kind of, I don't know, it's almost like a bubble, and they deserve to be held safe in a bubble. And I think this is kind of indicative of how we would love to keep the health workers safe. So that's kind of how it felt for me.
Very touching. Thank you, Tracy. And like 2 minutes left to go, everybody. And I want to go to the other musician. We've got Alex, to get your thoughts on that tonight. And, in terms of, do you think this has got legs in the future as a virtual thing, or could you see it perhaps better if we brought this into hospitals?
Ooh, yeah, I think it would be cool in hospitals. My mum actually works as a phlebotomist, which is the person who gets to give you the injections for your blood tests. And I think they would love something like this to build up spirit. And like Tracy said, like you want to keep them safe, and we all want to keep them safe. So if you can do something that's going to bring joy for even an hour, I think it just brings joy.
Thanks for sharing that, Alex. And everybody, just with this last minute, I will hand over to Katie for some closing remarks in the last few seconds as we hit the hour. But I just want to share some comments from the audience for you all tonight, because I don't have the time, unfortunately, to go to everybody here. But Jack Ayres, well done, everyone. Lovely work. A round of applause from Sean Jones. Thank you. And actually, to all performers and writers. Writers we don't have online tonight, but I know we have them tuning in. So thank you for tuning in, supporting, and thank you for your written work. It means so much to us. It's often writers are the forgotten heroes in all this. Well done from Molly Piggott. Well done to all. From Matthew Biddulph, thank you all for sharing your talents, so well written, performed and directed. John Cleary, round of applause. And as on this note, as we close the show, one from Sean Jones for Queen Katie Cole. Katie, any closing remarks as artistic director?
Perfect. Well, I mean, as everybody has seen, my job was incredibly easy this month with the talent I had. There were lots of laughs the whole way through, and actually with Mika and Alex, because I don't rehearse that with them, I saw it for the first time live, and I don't know if Nelson, you can see my little frame, but through both of them, I was like sat at the camera like, Wow. Wow. So it was just so beautiful. It's such a good night of talent. And we really went on such a roller coaster there. And I think that encapsulates what our mad healthcare system is. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it can be sad at points, but I think if anything about the cast that we've got and the stories that we've told is that the people we're trying to reach is so universal and so diverse, and there is not one type of voice that we want to hear from that. And to hear a range of people tonight from all different backgrounds and ages and styles of story, it makes me very happy. It makes this job an absolute pleasure. So thank you to everyone that's watched and to our performers. And if you are able to donate, please do, because it means that we can keep hiring people like this who are incredible. And I just want to keep doing this for as long as possible. So yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, talent. Thank you, all the audience, and some closing credits for you all. We'll be back next month on the last Thursday of the month in September. But for now, good night and good evening.